What's going on? It's your boy Hayes. Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central. I am your host Hayes, and I know we had like a 3-day stretch there where I was dropping content every day, and then we had a little brief break there for a second. I just had to regroup, and honestly, I've loved doing this. I love this podcast and this show and interaction on YouTube and everything that you guys have been in the conversations that's been going on. But your boy needed a break. But I'm back, especially gearing up for the season. I just because when the season starts back, I do plan on probably doing this show about 3 or 4 times a week at least during the weekday, and then if the Bulls have games on the weekends, I'll probably be doing and going live maybe every time after a Bulls game. So just trying to pace myself heading into there. We've grown a lot in the last week, and I'll address that towards the end of the video. I'm doing a giveaway, and I'm going to address the rules and how that's all going down at the end of this video. So stay tuned if you want to hear that. If you want a chance to win some free Bulls merch, stay to the end of the video, and you'll find out the details for that. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about on this video, and I'm just going to keep it simple. And I saw, I don't know if it was a post, I don't know if it was an article, but the question was posed: are the Bulls going to be the most exciting team to watch this season? And I want to kind of talk about that. And when questions like this, I try to separate my personal fandom over the Chicago Bulls and try to keep a level head with this, because as a Bulls fan, my first thought is abso-fucking-lutely they're going to be probably one of the most entertaining teams to watch in the league. But I want to give the reasons why, right? It's easy as Bulls fans to get caught up in the hype. And not that it's not, and by saying hype, I don't mean that it's not deserved. I think the hype that we have as a fandom and after what we've been through is absolutely deserved. So, I'm not guilt tripping anybody into that. But for the average basketball fan, and I try to think about this as somebody who is going to buy League Pass, who is just like a huge basketball fan and tries to watch every game that they want. What is going to make the Bulls be exciting, right? What is going to make it to where, people, even though the Bulls don't have a lot of nationally televised games, what's going to make them be that NBA League Pass team? And maybe, the NBA makes some changes to get them on TV a little bit more. What's going to do that? And when I think about it, right, and the way that this roster is constructed, we're not only going to play a brand of basketball that gets us up and down the court very fast, very often. And I know Vooch and, the thoughts of maybe him being more of a half-court player. But even with that being said, let's say Vooch is the trailer in most of these situations. You still got to guard him, because at that point, if you let him trail and try to, double team anyone else or pack the lane, he's going to hit a 3 on you. He's going to drain that fucking 3 at that. So that's kind of the first thing, right, is the style of play. The style of play that the Bulls are going to play, at least on paper, when you look at the fact that we're going to be a smaller team, we don't have a lot of traditional big man. That up and down style, we already know is one of the most entertaining in basketball. People love to see, and that's maybe not the NBA purists or the basketball purist fans, but when you think about the casual NBA fan, they love that style of play. On top of that, look at the personnel that we do have. We have one of the up-and-coming rising stars in this league of Zach LaVine, and whether we realize it or not, we are Bulls fans. A lot of us too. If you're watching this, more than likely, sometimes you are an NBA fan and you watch the game of basketball a little bit closer. But there is going to be a whole new set of eyes on this Zach LaVine guy, right? Because of him playing in the Olympics, because of the talk like Kyle Lowry saying that he is one of the most underrated players in basketball. Then also you think about Lonzo Ball coming into this team, and the fact that Lonzo, he was one of the more hyped rookies coming into this league. The thing with his father, also had the benefit of his brother playing in Charlotte and the comparisons there. That's also going to bring some interest. DeMar DeRozan coming from the Spurs, a franchise that is well respected in this league. That's going to get some eyes on this too. But when it all comes down to it, the coaching of Billy Donovan, the fact that we have a rising star in this league, the fact that our play style should be one that garners and it's just fun to watch. Whether the Bulls win a bunch of games, lose a bunch of games in a row, they're always going to be entertaining. But the key, like one of the factors that I think in this that I don't want to overlook on what's going to make the Bulls one of the most exciting teams to watch this season in the NBA is just the fact that the Bulls are going to have a big ass chip on their shoulder. Every ESPN analyst, every article, every time that GM poll comes out or executive poll comes out, and you see things like DeMar DeRozan was one of the worst signings. You see things like, oh, Zach LaVine is just an empty scorer player. This team and the chip that they're going to have on their shoulder is going to make them one of the most entertaining teams. And you know why? It's because that every opponent that's in front of them, until we see otherwise, right? This is what I choose to believe until I see otherwise. They are going to try to prove their point. Even looking at the roster, you have a young up-and-coming Patrick Williams. You have Alonzo Ball, who's going to be out to show something. Him and his brother saying that he's better. That conversation is going around. And don't forget, these players have pride. They have egos. Absolutely. We live in an era where the game is softer or whatever by many people's estimations and how we talk about it. But these players still have ego. They see everything. They see the response on social media. Lonzo, I think, is going to have a lot to show. DeMar is going to have a lot to show. DeMar, really, even in hearing his interview and the way that he talks about this team, he has confidence in this team. And he has, he sees the doubters as well talking about fit. Even Vooch, and a player who, again, much like Zach LaVine, a player who's put up great numbers on a team that's never really won anything. Chip on the shoulder as well there. Look at players like Alize Johnson, Alex Caruso, who, I'm sure, he's going to be out to prove of how good of a player he is outside of just playing with LeBron. And then you got players still that can prove a lot, like Kobe White. We haven't heard a lot from Kobe White. He's been more active on Twitter lately. But Kobe White, a player that now, is looked at as the starting point guard of the future at one point, lost that starting position. Now they signed another young point guard. What does that do for the psyche of Kobe White? What does that do for the chip on Kobe White's shoulder? We know, like I said, look at his Twitter. We know that he's a guy who he cares about the game of basketball. He cares about his teammates. Kobe White's also going to have something to show. So outside of just our style of play, I think that collective chip on this team's shoulder is going to be really what pushes this team to just be a highly entertaining team. And I know, one of the biggest things on us is the defense. But when you look at the Bulls bench, a lot of those defensive woes, and yeah, they're bench players. But again, because of that chip on their shoulders, because of that ability to prove, and if Billy Donovan can get all these players on the same page relatively quick and they realize that they're playing for something more than just individual goals, that they're playing for their coach, that they're playing for Zach, that they're playing just to prove that they're one of the better teams in this league, I wouldn't want to play the Bulls. I just honestly, like the Bulls, I would hope, especially at home, aren't going to be one of those teams that you're going to feel it when you play the Chicago Bulls. Defensive woes aside, that's why I think this team is going to be extremely entertaining. And last year I did not get League Pass. I did not. I'm a super big Bulls fan, but I was kind of okay if I missed some games. This year, however, I'm not missing a single Bulls game. Even if I'm not able to watch it live because of work or whatever else is going on, I'm watching every single Bulls game that I can possibly watch this year. And you best believe that there are a lot of other people feeling that same way. You best believe that there are a lot of other people, especially with Zach LaVine signing with Clutch Sports, getting his name in the news more, being a free agent at that. There are going to be other people who are watching this team. The Chicago Bulls are in a great position. We all know that. We're Bulls fans. We've been watching this team in this offseason and how everything has gone down. We've been watching. But the Bulls still have a lot to prove. And because of that ability, because of that desire, I think that this team's going to have to prove their doubters wrong. The Chicago Bulls are going to be one of the better teams and the most entertaining teams to watch. And then even outside, when you really look at the Bulls, yes, amazing offensive versatility from their starting five, right? Yeah, you look at the bench and the role players there, and, of course, some of the offensive questions start to rise there. But we have a team on the bench full of what appear to be hungry, hustle players. And that's what you want on the bench. Yeah, think about the original bench mob. Think about that. Let me not say the original bench mob, but think about that bench mob we had on that 2011 team. Just think about that. Ronnie Brewer, CJ Watson, Kyle Korver, Amir Sheik, who was a rookie. And then think about how that kind of aligns with the players that we have on this bench. Alex Caruso, DJ, Kobe White, Marco. All I'm saying is this. And I'm not trying to compare this team to the 2011 team, because that team holds a special place in a lot of Bulls fans' hearts. And it should, right? It absolutely should. But all I'm saying is that just like with that team, nobody expected that team coming into the season to have the best record in the NBA. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected an MVP to come from that. Nobody expected the Coach of the Year to come to that. Nobody expected these things. And if they tell you they did, they're fucking lying and playing hindsight, right? Revisionist history, whatever you want to call it. All I'm saying is that I expect the brand of basketball that the Bulls put out there on offense. I also expect expect them to be very active on defense. Of course, that 2011 team was elite defensively. I'm not saying I expect that, but I do think we're going to be more of a capable defensive team than what people are giving us credit for. Part of that is going to be Zach LaVine constantly improving on defense. Part of that's going to be a big part of that's going to be Patrick Williams and what he's able to do defensively. Caruso is going to play into that as well. The Bulls aren't going to be anything to just take lightly. And I personally believe, fandom aside, that the Bulls, the Chicago Bulls, our Chicago Bulls, are going to have one of the most entertaining teams to watch. Billy Donovan builds his offense, builds his scheme around the players rather than try to have them fit into a scheme. And if he can do that, if he can bring a brand of offense that brings out the best of these players, and we know we have the weapons. We have now a point guard who can hopefully get that ball and distribute that ball and spread out that offense a little bit better. Every member of our starting five just about has to be respected from three, right? Not that they're all locked down three-point shooters, but that you can't just leave them wide open. You can't play off of them and expect them to just miss it all the time. We're going to have a very entertaining brand of basketball here in Chicago this year, and that's just what I wanted to talk to you guys about on this episode. Now, outside of that, I made a promise on my last episode that came back quicker than what I thought it would. So here's what we're going to do. I said that we were going to do a giveaway. I said that there were going to be 2 lucky people who got to pick any Bulls merch item of $50 or less that they wanted, and I was going to give that to them free. Let's talk about the rules for that now before we go. So you have to be a subscriber to this channel. You also have to follow Bulls Central Pod on Twitter, and this is what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to tweet at Bulls Central Pod what you expect the Bulls record to be this year. And I will pick 2 lucky Bulls fans out of the people who tweet that, and they'll get to pick their merch, and we'll get that sent out to them by the end of next week. So again, follow the rules. Very simple. I'm keeping it simple for passing the 200 subscriber mark. Tweet at Bulls Central Pod what you expect the Bulls record to be at the end of this year. And out of that, you also have to be a subscriber. But out of anyone who tweets that, 2 people, I'll pick 2 people at random, put all the names or usernames in a randomizer, pick 2 of those. I'll contact those 2 for the address and send out their merch. Make sure you're following Bulls Central Pod on Twitter. I can't drill that home enough. So yeah, we'll do that giveaway then, and then we'll do another giveaway at 500 subscribers, and then another giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. I want to thank you. I want to give back to you guys for supporting me. I can't stress enough how much that means to me. So because of that, we're going to do these type of giveaways. So, let me know what you guys think about it. Leave a comment down below of what you guys think about the Bulls offense and why they may or may not be one of the more entertaining teams to watch in the NBA this year. You can also send us any emails. That is bullcentralpod@gmail.com. So you can send us any emails there as well. But that's it. And like always, I'm going to leave this with go Bulls. I love you guys. Peace.